which is making a major contribution to not only felling of trees, but also to the 500 pages of our agenda this evening, and that is the next stage in the story on the interconnector to be sited at Daedalus. Of course, that's now becoming rather more certain since the planning committee gave a planning decision, but as we've always said throughout this process, we will as a council not allow this project to go ahead if it's demonstrated to have adverse effects upon the operations of Solent Airport, on the Solent Enterprise Zone, which is a very important employment site for this borough, and if the draft local plan proposals are agreed to, will become an even more important site, and of course effects on local residents. And a great number of technical studies have been provided and carried out, and the results of those, which I don't propose to go through page by page this evening, but there is a lot there which I hope members have read. There have been desktop studies carried out. Personally, I didn't think that was wholly adequate. I felt it was important that practical studies were carried out as well, and members of residents associations have attended trials at Chilling to get an idea for what this was about, and also, of course, it culminated in trials which I felt in terms of airport operations were the most important, and that was trials with real cables carrying the real current at Daedalus with real aircraft sitting on them, traversing over them, and in the case of the Coast Guard helicopter, taking off and landing several times over those cables and testing every possible system within that search and rescue helicopter to make absolutely certain that there were no adverse effects. And again, residents associations, local members, and I attended that day as well. In fact, I took one of the planes over the cables to look for compass deviation or any effect on, in this particular aircraft, very sensitive systems, apart from a very predictable variation, a slight movement in the compass, literally as you passed over the cable. That was it. The Maritime Coast Guard Agency announced to us that there was nothing there at all that was of any concern to them. So I think we've now reached an important point in this whole issue, and have reached a position where we're that much closer now to be able to grant a construction lease to the National Grid to be able to start some works on the site. There's still one item that will need to come back to the planning committee, and that's the issue around the physical burial of the cables and how that will work. Clearly there are also issues for us around the car park at Monks Hill and the beach huts and the effect there will be there, and the compensation that we'll be expecting from National Grid in terms of any costs to us in reimbursing beach hut owners for their potential loss of use of those beach huts, or at least some of them, over the summer periods this year and next year and the year after. So there's still a way to go with this, but I think a great deal of progress has now been made, as I say, following the planning committee and all of these trials, which we always said we would publish absolutely openly, and they are published now for anybody to be able to look at. So what we're actually looking to do this evening is to note the progress which has been made in relation to all of those technical assessments and designs for the interconnector and the conclusions of those independent technical assessments, to agree in principle that the technical assurance has been obtained to enable National Grid to proceed to the next stage of construction, and that's provided that we have ongoing safeguards for the council as well. So that means that if something unforeseen should take place, we maintain our control as landlord, which is far greater than the control as a local planning authority over that facility. And we now confirm that the option can be exercised by National Grid once we've got the legally binding agreements in place, and the construction lease can then be granted so they can move forward with the programme, and finally to delegate authority to the Director of Finance and Resources, in consultation with me, to conclude any revisions to that legal documentation. So that's where we're at. Have I missed anything, Mr. Monell? Okay. Any questions? Councillor Cartwright.
I just for their comments more than anything, Chairman. I mean, I was member when we first started this particular project and attended both the planning meetings, and I think between National Grid and ourselves, we ended up with an excellent situation. And especially our officers, I mean, I really should congratulate them on the amount of work they've done, and even this report, I think, shows the work that has been done. And I think equally, when you look at the appendices, the 6 with whether it's the interim safety report, the hazard log report, technical assessments, supporting documents, occupier impact assessments and delivery programme, it's all there. And I think the 4 recommendations, especially recommendation B, gives us all the assurance we need actually, so very happy to support it.
Thank you very much. And probably one of the documents I should have particularly mentioned as well is that impact assessment and the work that's being done by agents. Again, agents who are charged with letting the site, having conversations with potential businesses to move onto the site to make sure that there were no adverse perceptions, and again that looks very sound as well. Anybody else? Councillor Mrs. Manley.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, this has been going on for some time, and it seems whatever objections from local residents or resident associations have come about, National Grid has addressed those very well, and we're very happy with them. But I just add 2. I was at that trial, and I was absolutely impressed with them, especially when they tested the winch as well.
Okay, anyone else? Are those recommendations agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you.